Hello folks, Scott with Dallas Paint Correction and Auto Detailing here in Dallas, Texas. I want to talk about something. I've been using a tool for the last 3 or 4 months, and I'm going to say it. I'm in love with it. I absolutely love it. I did a review not too long ago about the Griot's Boss system. This happens to be the G15. I love this thing. It's a workhorse for me. Oops, I almost thought that was going to fall off the our little makeshift table, which is a G-Pud. This thing, the Griot's G15, is a great machine. It's got plenty of power. It's got, I use the words, it's got balls. It's a workhorse for me. I love it. Does some really nice paint correction for a dual action polisher as far as long throws are concerned. I want to talk about this baby right next to it. It's the TORQ 22D. This thing is distributed by Chemical Guys. I think a lot of people may think that Chemical Guys makes it. Well, to be honest with you, I don't think Chemical Guys makes anything. They're just a great marketing firm. I don't think they formulate anything. I think basically they rebottle somebody else's stuff and distribute it, and that's fine. They have a right to be there. Some of their products are good. Some of them are just, I could care less for them. They're no better than some retail products I come across, but don't mean to step on anybody's toes. But the fact that this TORQ 22D is being distributed by Chemical Guys had nothing to do with my opinion about it. I think at first when it came out, I kind of said, I'm not really impressed with Chemical Guys. I'm not all that interested in it. I have to be honest, I made a very large mistake. I got this thing. I bought this thing for, I think you can get it for $299, the TORQ 22D. I got it with a coupon. I don't know if it was 15 or 20% off. I think I paid like $279 for it. Folks, I'm about ready to make an opinion. I own a Griot's G15. I own a Rupes Mark II 21 Bigfoot. I don't have it with me. I actually let somebody borrow, a fellow professional detailer in Dallas, borrow the Rupes Bigfoot 21 millimeter throw from me about a month ago. I let him use it because I don't use it all that often, and he was interested in maybe purchasing one, so he wanted to play with it. I said, hey, take mine, enjoy it. I've got plenty of tools available to me. But when I got my hands on this TORQ 22D, and I'm kind of comparing it to the Griot's G15 here in the moment, I will be absolutely honest and transparent. Even though I love the Griot's machine, I love the Boss system, I like their polishes. It's just a great, phenomenal system. If I hold the G15 in my hands, they say it weighs somewhere around 5 or 6 pounds. Okay, I'll say that's probably true. It's nice. It's beautiful. I love it. You'll also notice the body of this thing is kind of thick. It's not narrow, and that's kind of an interesting point about the TORQ 22D. If I run this thing, right now I have it on speed 6, and if I turn the trigger on, hopefully you guys will hear it. I want you to hear the noise level of this thing at speed 6. Now with the Griot's machine, you have a trigger and you have a lock button, right? That's nice. And if you heard the way it sounds, it's smooth running, it's relatively quiet. But now I want to compare it to the 22D, the Torx machine, and tell you why over the last 3 or 4 months I've been grabbing this machine more and more often. I'm beyond falling in love with it. I'm really impressed with it. And for the dollar, for the value, if I paid $279 for it, I think people have told me they paid less than $250 for it. Folks, even at $299, I'm about ready to make a claim. It is the best long throw polisher for the money. It is an exceptional machine. Let me bring it into focus here and we'll talk about it. Bear with me, guys. If you notice here, instantly when I pick this up, it's slightly lighter than the Griot's G15. That's nice. If you're doing a lot of paint correction, holy crap, something a little bit lighter is going to help you. I've been doing it for a long time, and it's a blessing to grab something that's a little bit lighter. The other thing that's very interesting, it's very narrow. It's a lot more narrower than the Rupes, certainly more narrower than the Griot's, which makes it very comfortable. Even if I got to grab it by the middle of the polisher, it's very comfortable. I can get my hand around it just fine, and I feel very secure holding it. I love that. The one thing that's very interesting, it has no trigger, no lock button. which is kind of interesting to me. Those who might be left-handed or right-handed, if you're using a Rupes or a Griot's G15 that's got a trigger and a lock button, I've made this point before, that the lock button's on the right-hand side. This has no lock button, no trigger, so I think this is more user-friendly for people who might be left-handed. Because if you're left-handed, predominantly left-handed, and you're using a Griot's machine or a Rupes machine, the lock button for the trigger will probably be in the wrong place for you. So this is kind of a little bit more user-friendly for both left-handed and right-handed people. I think that's a really nice point to make about this machine. Also, too, there's just an on and off switch thing to this thing. If I turn it on, you'll see the little digital display comes on. It's in standby mode. It's ready to go. And then what you have is push buttons here going up and going down. It's got 6 different settings, 6 different speeds. And it's exceptional. It's very smooth. It's very quiet. I love it. Let me ramp it all the way up to its speed 6, which on the dial it will say 4, but that's the 6th speed of the machine. And let's see if we can hear a difference between this and the Griot's. I'll compare it this way. The Griot sounds like a V8. It sounds like a hot rod V8, which is great. It's got power. It's 900 watts. So is the TORQ 22D, by the way, and I'm going to get into that in a moment. This is far more quieter than the Griot's. We're starting to enter, I'm almost willing to say it's as quiet as the Rupes, or maybe slightly even quieter. There really is no vibration with this machine. I am completely impressed that I paid $279 for something that I said, oh God, it comes from Chemical Guys. I'm not interested. I made a huge mistake. I thought in the beginning I wouldn't like the fact that it didn't have a trigger. I tell you what, folks, it's so user-friendly, very intuitive. You just look down at the speed dial, you know exactly where you are. It's digital, it's readable, it's easy to see. You've got the buttons going up and down. I guess somebody could say, I'm a little concerned about the digital display and having to push the buttons up and down. What's the longevity and durability of this? I don't know, I can't speak for that, but I can speak for triggers on the Griot's machine, the Rupes, or really on rotaries, because I've been using rotaries for a long time. Triggers go bad, lock buttons go bad. I've had to replace them. I've had to replace my whole polisher because I couldn't get a trigger. So I don't really know if that's going to make or break your world, but I'll raise the issue. Is there a concern about longevity and durability with these? Perhaps. I'm not seeing it. Again, I've only owned it for 3 or 4 months. Very smooth operating. I'm very impressed with the quality. I don't think I'm going to have an issue here. The other thing that's really nice, it's very user-friendly. It's very narrow. It's very light. And I love the, Griot's likes to call it the platypus head, but the head on this thing is nice. It's very comfortable to hold. It's got a little bit of a rubber grip to it. Unless you had this thing in your hand, you wouldn't understand what I'm trying to say, but it's absolutely sweet. Very intuitive, very comfortable, very smooth. I love it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you this thing in action and just kind of go back to this digital display, which is interesting. If I turn it on, it's in standby mode, right? And I can go up and down in speed. If I turn the machine off, at that moment there I had it on speed 3, I turn it off, and then if I want to turn it back on, it goes back into its standby mode. It does not remember what speed you were at last, and it's a soft start type of technology. When you first hit the button to go up to speed 1, the pad will begin to rotate kind of softly, slowly, which that doesn't, I prefer it not to do that, but it's not going to make or break your world. It's fine. It works for this machine. Rupes does the same thing, even though it's got a trigger. It's soft start technology. That's cool. That's fine. I'll just show this in action on this hood. I've got some HD speed. I've got a white Lake Country force pad on it. Really doesn't have much cut on it at all, but I'll just show you this thing in action. It's sweet. I've been using this thing for 3 or 4 months, and I keep wanting to grab it. I keep using it. Its ability to cut paint, remove defects is just as impressive as Griot's, just as impressive as Rupes, but it's far less money. I mean, if you bought this thing for less than $250, I think somebody told me Chemical Guys has like sales on these things every once in a while. You're buying this machine for what, that's $250. You're talking almost $200 less than a Rupes. Works just as fine, just as smooth, just as comfortable, gives you the same type of cut. I love it. I think it's great. Now, TORQ's only makes, well, they make the 10FX, right, which is a 10 millimeter throw, but when it comes to their long throws, they only make a 22 millimeter long throw. They don't make a 15. I'd like to see them make a 15, but in the meantime, I'm fine with this 22 millimeter throw, or 21 millimeter throw, I should say. But let me get this polish on here, and I'll just show you this in action. You guys have seen me do this before. It's nothing sexy or fun, but just want to show you how this thing operates under normal working conditions. It's fun. I love it. It's very smooth. Let me go in here and just kind of tap out my product a little bit in my working area. I'll move my microfiber towel so I don't suck them up. So basically, I got the switch on. It's in standby mode. The screen says 00. I'll just kick it up one notch to spread out my product, and you'll see how it starts slowly. Kind of cool. It's called soft start technology. So I've spread out my product. I'll turn the machine off. Then I'll turn it back on. It's back in its standby mode. I'll go up to speed 4 or 5 with this and just kind of work this thing. It's very well balanced. Holy crap, I'm completely impressed. Two thumbs up to Chemical Guys working with TORQs and being a master distributor for them. It's really nice. It's really great. I think TORQs makes a great machine. But let me go in here and show you how this operates. I absolutely love it. Once you get it up to the speed that you want, it's incredibly smooth. It's smoother than the Griots, guys. Smoother than the G15. It's quieter, less vibration. Its ability to cut paint based on the pad that you have, the compound, whatever your level of expectations are, is great. It's a 900 watt motor, just like the Griots G15 on the G21. What's interesting about wattage, you want to make sure that you understand how gear reduction motors work. Sometimes wattage doesn't always mean that you get a tremendous amount of power to the face of the pad. But both the Griots machine and the TORQ's 22D versus the Rupes, don't mean to knock the Rupes at all. These are nice motors at 900 watts, and they're also geared nice. If I turn this thing up to its highest speed and apply pressure, it doesn't become a dog like Rupes. It doesn't want to stall on me. It's got power. Right there, folks, that's me applying about 20 to 25 pounds of pressure and really flattening out that pad. This thing keeps spinning. That's important to me. I've got rotary experience. I don't want a machine that's going to necessarily stall on me like a Rupes. Incredibly quiet, very user-friendly, very intuitive with the speed dials, very easy to kind of learn on. It's incredibly light, lighter than the Griots. I'm willing to say it's almost, maybe slightly lighter than the Rupes. It's quiet, smooth. I wanted to share it with you. The TORQ's 22D, in my opinion, if you can get this thing, even for $299, but if you can get it for less than 250 bucks and you're interested in a long throw polisher, do not hesitate. Go ahead and buy this machine. It's got plenty of power, will not stall on you. Very smooth operating machine. I love it. Chemical Guys, great work with teaming up with TORQ's 22 or TORQ's company to sell these things. This has become a polisher that I'm grabbing quite a bit over the last 3 or 4 months. I wanted to share it with you. It is a great, great buy. Love you all. Talk to you soon.